What's going on, guys? Juke here with the exclusive again. And who do we have here today?
Aaron Rampone.
Aaron Rampone. What'd you do today, Aaron?
I got top 8 with Unifrog. I went 8-1 Swiss.
That's what's up. Any comments before we dive into this?
I don't know. This deck is really hard to play, and I guess I played it pretty well. I tried to, this event, play more tempo-oriented and play more like aggressive. One of my friends, Kenny, shout out to him. Him and I had like a long conversation about like how to play this deck. I think I was playing the deck like for a long time too conservatively, and I started taking more of an aggressive approach, and I think it turned out better that way.
Sounds good. Let's go to the list.
And I just want to note, I'm not going to go over things that are kind of self-explanatory. So just like, yeah. So for the frogs, it's 3 sub, 2 Treeborn, 2 Dupe, 2 swap, no third, and no Unifrog. In testing, Unifrog sucks. It's like a Garnet where like in the best case scenario, it's like average. I don't know, like a lot of the time you don't really like keep, like you don't end like this. Unlike Dream Frog or other frog variants, you'll kind of end on a board like this a lot. But a lot of the time you're just gonna end here. And when you do that and Unifrog's engrave, like you're not really getting it back, or maybe it's like placing normal something like pop a back row. Like most of the time, at best, it's like fine, and at worst, it's a brick that like you're gonna lose the game off of. So like I cut it from my list entirely. I did not miss it at all. It did not come up at all. Maybe I'm really bad at this deck, I don't know, but it just didn't. The 2 swaps, I wanted to make room for other stuff, which I'll show later. The third one, I never really missed it. Usually when your engine's going, it's going, so you don't really miss the third one. I don't regret cutting the third, and I don't regret cutting Unifrog. Fuck Unifrog. 5 Monarchs. I really like 5. I don't know who standardized this, shout out to them, but I think 5 is the correct number. I won a lot of games in Swiss just from Rise of Monarching, and like just they don't get to draw and like kind of just looping it. Yeah, I think this is correct. Play the heroes. Nothing really to say here. Junk is broken. Gore's 2 Fader. When playing this deck, I lost a lot of games just because they killed me. And I saw a couple lists online that like went up to 2 Fader, and I think Sunny may have been one of them. And I just started playing it, and I really, really liked it. It came up in a lot of games. I mean, obviously it gets ZDV'd, but like in other matchups where like they're playing an aggressive deck, maybe like Machina, where they know you're on frogs and they're just going to try and push in damage like as quickly as possible. This comes in, and then you just crack back. There were a couple games that the second Fader came up, and like the ideal scenario really came up where it was like they're gonna go for push for game, they wasted all the resources, you Fader, maybe it's the second Fader, and then you crack back, and then they just can't like win. So I definitely don't regret this either. For spells, I'm not gonna explain any of this. 2 Econ, no Soul Exchange. When I played Dream Frog, I didn't like this card, but that may be more frog oriented and like a lot more substitute oriented, but in this deck it's like a tempo deck, and like sometimes like you're really going for chip damage and then like just trying to steal the game and go for lethal, and this really enables it, especially like game 1. Game 2 and 3, I would side these cards out a lot because obviously they're going to put the side hate in and you're not going to get your Treeborn access. I think I may have sided these out every game. I think there may have been like 1 or 2 where like I kept them in, but like these, especially against the bird decks, like these like go out like a lot. You just kind of put the other cards in. But yeah, double Econ came up a pretty good amount. I stole a couple games I think that I would have probably otherwise lost because I was playing very aggressive, and this just allowed me to kind of steal the game. Yeah, really good. And then traps are this. I had a lot of conversation with the New York players about just cutting Torrential altogether. A lot of frog players there just don't like Torrential. And I talked about this also in my Dream Frog profile. It's Torrential Tribute. I don't know. It just sometimes wins you games that you maybe shouldn't win. Or like you'll go turn 1, set Torrential, set dupe, and like you'll have like a empty board, and you can like make a tempo again. Like at the end of the day, it's Torrential. Like I just believe in playing this card. I'll show the extra deck. I don't think I have to really explain everything. This almost came up, it didn't. I don't know, I guess slow the video down if you want to see it in like slow-mo, but like it's not, yeah, it's nothing crazy. And then side deck. 2 Vanity Fiends. I was originally on 3, and then I was testing with my good friend Steve behind the camera, and I don't know, the third one, like, you're kind of bricking on it, or like they usually hold the out, and it doesn't do anything when you summon it. I mean, obviously when you're in the mirror match, like holding Vanity Fiend is like how you win the game. But a lot of the time when you're playing a good player, they'll just kind of hold the out. So like really you should be like kind of chipping and trading resources until you have an opportunity to drop this and kind of lock the game down. You shouldn't be just dropping it like immediately. I didn't miss the third. For this event, my meta call was it would be a lot of like kind of random stuff, but like maybe the Gigavice, which I think is 2 in top 8 playing right now. and the Dreamfrog OTK deck, which is like gained popularity, which is a really hard deck, by the way. But I kind of like read those as to be like the more populous decks at the top like tables. And I maybe have like the third one for Dreamfrog and Gigavice, but ultimately like 2 was fine. And then I put 3 Crow in. The 3 Crows never came in, but this was for, again, Dreamfrog OTK and the Gigavice deck. Against the Dreamfrog OTK deck, if you just Crow their Fishborg, they just like lose. They just don't have a win con. So that was like kind of the mentality there. One Breaker, this card would kind of come in against Vayu and maybe some other like mid-range like matchups where they're like setting a lot of back row. He did come up, like I think in 2 games. I don't remember the exact plays, it's been kind of a long weekend, but whenever I saw him, I was kind of happy to see him. He was like a good normal summon, or like maybe you're in like a grind game state and you see him and you pop the back row for a +1 attack over whatever, and like you're just kind of like doing pretty well. So I liked him. I think I'll keep him going forward. Even though theoretically like he gets rugged and like you just like lose him, or like, I don't know, he did pretty good. I think I'll keep him going forward. One Dark Dust, this came up a lot, maybe like 3 times. It did really good. I mean, they go wide, you fader, and then you drop this. This is definitely more justified when you're on the double fader, just as like another crackback. The second Junk Synchron, this came up like a pretty good amount. He may have won me at least 1 game. The logic is like with DDV running around, like you don't want to like main like multiple. But when you're playing against a non-bird deck, the second one I think can come in, maybe like cut a Ryza. And you're gonna fill your tributes. So I normally side out, like I could side out 2 Rises for like Vanities, like Dark Dust and the other stuff. But against non-bird decks, you summon him, and having the second one, like you just do crazy plays with like summon swap, attack, like bounce this, and like you just kind of gotta get resources. Or like it just extends your plays to like more synchro lines to kind of like find a lethal, or like put you in a better board state where like just your tributes can't get you there. I definitely like the second Junk, and I'm definitely gonna play it going forward. 1 Solex, 1 Vortex. I don't need to explain this, especially with Fader, like it's really, really good. Solex, I kind of had mixed feelings about. I did, I think, sack like maybe 2 of my opponents, like game 3, where it's like I had Solex sub, and it was like just the one of. I was, I guess originally when I was testing this deck, I was on like 1 Econ, 1 Solex. But this card would just kind of sit in my hand a lot. It's more relevant game 2, especially when you're kind of out on these because you're scared of losing your Treeborn. And they have a Dyna, and you can like Solex the Dyna and step over it. Like that's probably a lot more relevant. It was okay. I think I probably sacked a little bit with this card, but like aside from sacking, it was like fine. I probably have to like play 1 somewhere in the 55 cards. 3 Dust Tornado. This is like pretty much just for Blackwing. Otherwise, I'll probably just put 2 in. 1 Karma Cut. This is against pretty much Frog, like Machina, and then 1 Deep Prison. I don't like 2. I actually was on 2, and then I did 1 Deep Prison, 1 Karma Cut. And yeah, that's the list. I think it's pretty standard. I think maybe it's a little spicy to cut Unifrog. 2 Swap is kind of standard-ish. 2 Fader is like not unseen. 2 Econ, no Soul is like not unseen, but like everything else like pretty standard.
That's what's up. Any other comments about the deck, the event, anything else?
This event was actually pretty disorganized. I really wish that we got more attention as like a community. Like it's growing, and like we're doing well, and a lot of people are traveling out. Like I got a map for top 8, which is cool. I mean, we're playing for the love of the game. But probably could have organized it a little bit better. Maybe do top 16. It was, I think, 300 or close to 300. So like just top 8 and, you know, buying a plane ticket and everything probably doesn't like justify it well. But yeah, shout out to everyone from New York. You guys are the best. Shout out to Kenny, Nikki, Raheem, Ernie, and Sush who came with us. Steve behind the camera, Matt Narvaez, who probably won't watch this. Jamal, Danny, anyone else that I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. I love you all. And yeah, I think that's it.
That's what's up. Shout out New York, and hey, shout out Aaron. Very impressive top today. Spicy ass list. That's what's up, man.
Thank you.